I have just bought a Bugatti Veyron with a small issue.
I bought the cheapest Bugatti Veyron in the world.
What if I told you that two ordinary YouTubers managed to spark a conversation that some of the biggest names in the car world could no longer ignore? It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? For years, Bugatti has stood at the very top of the automotive world. The company is known for building some of the fastest, most expensive, and most exclusive cars ever made. Most people will never even see a Bugatti in person, let alone own one. Because of that, many people have always believed these cars were almost impossible to repair without the factory's direct support. If something major broke, the common belief was simple: only Bugatti could fix it. That idea became part of the brand's image. It helped create an aura of mystery and exclusivity around every Veyron and Chiron that left the factory. Then something unexpected happened. A new generation of content creators began asking a simple question: is a Bugatti really impossible to repair, or has everyone simply accepted that idea without challenging it? Among the people asking that question, two names stood out more than anyone else: Armstrong and Mark McCann. Although both men approached the challenge in completely different ways, they each started a discussion that reached millions of viewers around the world. One focused heavily on hands-on problem-solving and learning through trial and error. The other showed what could happen when experienced specialists, planning, and significant investment were brought together for one ambitious goal. Instead of competing on a racetrack, they competed through determination, creativity, and the willingness to take enormous risks. Their projects were not just about fixing expensive cars. They became stories about persistence, engineering, teamwork, and the idea that difficult problems can sometimes be solved in unexpected ways. Every new video raised fresh questions. Could a damaged Bugatti really return to the road? Were replacement parts always necessary? Could independent mechanics solve problems that many believed only the manufacturer could handle? Viewers watched because they wanted answers, but they stayed because each challenge felt bigger than the last. The excitement was not simply about horsepower or luxury. It was about watching people refuse to give up when nearly everyone expected them to fail. That is what made these projects so fascinating. They inspire mechanics, engineers, car enthusiasts, and even people who knew very little about automobiles. The story became much bigger than two YouTubers. It became a symbol of curiosity, determination, and a belief that impossible tasks sometimes become possible when someone is willing to ask different questions. But as the projects gained more attention, another debate slowly began to grow. People stopped asking whether the cars could be repaired. Instead, they started asking a much bigger question: which journey truly left a greater mark on the automotive world? And what can these remarkable stories teach us about innovation, persistence, and the future of car repair? Long before millions of people began watching YouTube creators rebuild damaged supercars, Bugatti had already earned a reputation unlike almost any other car company in the world. Owning a Bugatti was never just about driving fast. It was about entering a very small group of people who could afford a machine built with extreme attention to detail, advanced engineering, and some of the highest manufacturing standards in the automotive industry. Every part of Bugatti was designed to perform under incredible stress, while delivering comfort and luxury that few other cars could match. Because of this, many people believe these cars were almost impossible to repair outside the official factory network. That belief did not appear overnight. It developed over many years as owners, mechanics, and journalists discussed the complexity of maintaining these vehicles. Stories about expensive servicing, specialized equipment, and highly trained technicians helped create the image that only the manufacturer truly understood the car. Whether every story was completely accurate or not, the reputation became part of the Bugatti brand. For many enthusiasts, a Bugatti represented the highest level of engineering, but also represented a world that seemed closed ordinary mechanics. This idea fascinated people because it challenged something many car lovers believe: that with enough patience, knowledge, and the right tools, almost any mechanical problem can eventually be solved. As online automotive content became more popular, audiences started enjoying restoration projects that showed damaged vehicles returning to life. Watching old or crashed cars become roadworthy again gave viewers a sense of excitement and hope. Every repaired engine, every solved electrical problem, and every successful test drive reminded people that difficult challenges can often be overcome through persistence. Naturally, viewers began wondering whether the same thing could happen with the world's most exclusive cars. Could independent creators repair vehicles that many believed were beyond their reach? Could modern technology, shared knowledge, and determined problem-solving reduce the gap between factory-only repairs and independent workshops? These questions became far more interesting than simple horsepower numbers or top speed records. They touched on larger ideas about innovation, access to information, and the changing relationship between manufacturers and independent experts. Around the world, experienced mechanics have shown that reverse engineering, careful research, and years of practical experience can sometimes solve problems that initially appear impossible. At the same time, manufacturers argue that specialized systems, safety requirements, and quality standards exist for important reasons. Both sides make valid points, which is why the discussion continues today. Instead of seeing the issue as a simple battle between large companies and independent mechanics, many people now view it as a conversation about finding the right balance between protecting advanced technology and encouraging innovation. That conversation has grown much larger than any single repair project. It now influences how enthusiasts think about ownership, maintenance, education, and the future of high-performance automobiles. Perhaps the greatest lesson is that curiosity often drives progress. When skilled people refuse to accept that something cannot be done, they frequently discover new methods, improve existing techniques, and inspire others to keep learning. That spirit of continuous learning is one of the main reasons automotive restoration videos continue attracting millions of viewers across the world. One of the biggest reasons this story attracted millions of viewers is that it was never really about one car. On the surface, people saw two expensive Bugattis being brought back to life. But underneath that, they were watching two completely different ways of solving the same impossible problem. Throughout history, every major breakthrough has come from people who looked at a challenge differently. Some succeeded because they had access to the best experts, the best equipment, and years of experience gathered from many talented people working together. Others succeeded because they refused to stop learning until they found the answer themselves. Neither path is automatically better than the other. In fact, modern engineering depends on both. Large companies build incredible products because hundreds of specialists combine their knowledge. At the same time, many important discoveries have been made by individuals who experimented, failed, learned from their mistakes, and tried again. That is exactly why this discussion became so interesting for millions of viewers. It was never simply about choosing one creator over another. It became a conversation about how people solve problems. Some viewers naturally admire the careful planning that comes with building a team of experienced professionals. Others connected more strongly with the idea of personally learning each system, studying technical documents, testing possible solutions, and refusing to give up until a problem was understood. These two approaches represent different personalities that exist in almost every profession. Whether someone works in engineering, medicine, business, technology, or construction, there are moments when teamwork becomes the greatest strength and other moments when personal determination makes the biggest difference. That universal message helped these automotive projects reach audiences far beyond traditional car enthusiasts. Many viewers had never repaired an engine, changed a gearbox, or even driven a supercar, yet they still found themselves emotionally invested because the challenges felt familiar. Everyone has faced situations where a problem seemed too difficult, where people said something could not be done, or where success depended on continuing after repeated failures. Watching determined people work through obstacle after obstacle reminded viewers of those experiences in their own lives. Another important reason these projects became so popular was transparency. Instead of showing only the successful moments, creators often shared setbacks, unexpected costs, failed repairs, missing parts, delays, and the frustration that comes with solving highly complicated problems. That honesty made the journey feel real. Viewers were not watching perfect heroes who always knew the answer. They were watching people think, make mistakes, adjust their plans, and gradually improve. This process created trust because audiences could see genuine progress instead of instant success. In today's online world, where many videos only highlight perfect results, showing the entire learning process feels refreshing. It encourages people to believe that expertise is built step by step rather than appearing overnight. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson behind these stories. Whether rebuilding a supercar, starting a business, learning a new skill, or chasing an ambitious dream, lasting success rarely comes from one brilliant moment. It usually comes from thousands of small decisions, countless hours of practice, and the willingness to keep moving forward even when the outcome remains uncertain. That message is much bigger than any Bugatti, and it explains why these automotive journeys continue inspiring people around the world. As these projects continue to gain attention, they also sparked a much larger conversation about the future of the automotive industry. Modern cars are becoming more advanced every year. They are filled with powerful computers, complex sensors, electronic control units, and software that work together to keep everything running smoothly. While these technologies make vehicles faster, safer, and more efficient, they also make repairs more complicated than ever before. 20 or 30 years ago, many experienced mechanics could diagnose a problem with basic tools, years of hands-on experience, and a deep understanding of how engines worked. Today, repairing a high-performance car often requires specialized diagnostic equipment, software updates, and technical information that may not always be easily available. This has created an ongoing discussion across the automotive world. Some people believe manufacturers should have greater control over repairs because they understand their vehicles better than anyone else and want to maintain high safety standards. Others believe owners should have more freedom to repair products they legally purchased, especially after warranties have expired. This discussion is often connected to what many people call the right to repair movement. Although opinions differ, one thing is clear. More people than ever are paying attention to how vehicles are repaired and who has access to the tools and information needed to perform those repairs. That growing interest is one reason automotive restoration content has become so popular online. Instead of only admiring beautiful cars, viewers now enjoy learning how they work behind the scenes. They want to understand the engineering, the design choices, and the creative thinking required to solve difficult mechanical problems. Every challenge becomes a learning opportunity. A damaged wiring harness teaches viewers about electrical systems. A faulty cooling system becomes a lesson in engine temperatures and fluid flow. Even small components can reveal how thousands of individual parts must work together perfectly for a supercar to perform as designed. This educational side of automotive content has attracted students, young mechanics, engineers, hobbyists, and curious viewers who simply enjoy understanding how complicated machines function. It proves that entertainment and education can exist together in the same video. Another reason these stories continue attracting attention is that they celebrate problem solving instead of perfection. Every unexpected setback forces new ideas, careful testing, and creative thinking. Sometimes the first solution works, but many times it does not. That reality makes the journey feel authentic because real engineering is rarely straightforward. Engineers constantly test ideas, gather information, make adjustments, and improve designs until they achieve the desired result. Watching that process unfold helps viewers appreciate the amount of work hidden behind every successful repair. It also reminds people that failure is not always the end of a project. In many cases, failure simply provides new information that leads to a better solution. This mindset reaches far beyond cars. Entrepreneurs, inventors, software developers, and scientists all experience similar moments where persistence becomes more valuable than immediate success. That universal lesson explains why these automotive stories continue finding audiences across different countries and age groups. People may arrive because they love supercars, but many stay because they enjoy watching intelligent people solve difficult problems through patience, research, teamwork, and determination. In the end, the machines themselves are only part of the attraction. The real story is about human curiosity, continuous learning, and the belief that even the biggest challenges can often be overcome by those willing to keep searching for answers. Another reason these automotive stories continue attracting millions of viewers is the emotional connection they create. At first glance, it may seem strange that people become so invested in watching someone repair a car. After all, a restoration project involves hundreds of hours of mechanical work, countless small parts, and technical problems that many viewers have never experienced themselves. Yet the success of these videos proves that audiences are not simply watching engines being rebuilt or damaged parts being replaced. They are watching a story unfold, and every great story follows a familiar pattern. There is a challenge that appears impossible to overcome. There are setbacks that test determination. There are moments of doubt when success seems farther away than ever. Finally, there's a reward that comes after persistence and hard work. This storytelling formula has existed for thousands of years, appearing in books, movies, sports, and real-life achievements. Automotive restoration simply presents that same emotional journey to the world of engineering. Every broken bolt, delayed delivery, missing component, or failed repair becomes another obstacle standing between the creator and the final goal. As viewers return for each new episode, they become emotionally invested because they want to see whether those obstacles can be overcome. They celebrate every breakthrough because they have experienced the entire journey alongside the creator. This emotional investment is one of the biggest reasons restoration channels continue growing on YouTube. Instead of offering instant results, they invite viewers to become part of a long-term adventure where every small victory feels meaningful. Another interesting aspect is how these projects encourage people to think differently about failure. In many areas of life, failure is often viewed as something negative that should be avoided at all costs. However, engineering tells a different story. Every failed test provides useful information. Every unexpected problem teaches a valuable lesson. Every mistake helps improve the next attempt. This mindset encourages resilience, and it is one of the most inspiring messages these projects communicate. Viewers begin to realize that success rarely comes from avoiding mistakes. Instead, it comes from learning how to respond when mistakes happen. That lesson applies equally to education, careers, businesses, and personal goals. The creators who succeed are usually not the ones who avoid every problem. They are the ones who continue searching for solutions after each setback. This approach makes the audience feel hopeful because it suggests that difficult goals are often achieved through patience rather than perfection. It also explains why restoration content appeals to such a wide range of viewers. Some people enjoy the engineering. Others enjoy the storytelling. Many simply appreciate seeing determined individuals refuse to quit when faced with enormous challenges. In today's fast-moving online world, where many videos promise quick success and instant results, watching someone slowly solve complex problems over weeks or even months feels refreshing. It reminds viewers that meaningful achievements usually require time, discipline, and continuous learning. Perhaps that is the greatest reason these automotive journeys continue inspiring millions around the world. They are not just stories about expensive machines. They are stories about human determination, curiosity, and a belief that every impossible challenge becomes a little smaller each time someone decides to face it instead of walking away. As the popularity of these restoration projects continued to grow, another important question began to emerge. Why were millions of people spending hours watching someone fix a car when they could simply watch a short video showing the finished result? The answer lies in something much deeper than automobiles. Human beings naturally enjoy solving puzzles. Whether it's a detective story, a sports championship, a business success story, or a difficult engineering project, people become emotionally invested when they do not know how the journey will end. Every unexpected problem creates a new mystery, and every solution delivers a sense of satisfaction. That same pattern appears throughout successful YouTube content. The biggest creators rarely focus only on the final achievement. Instead, they allow viewers to experience every challenge, every setback, every difficult decision, and every breakthrough along the way. This approach transforms ordinary repairs into exciting stories that audiences want to follow from beginning to end. It also explains why restoration content often performs better than simple review videos. A review may answer questions about a car's speed, design, or features, but a restoration tells a complete story filled with uncertainty, emotion, and discovery. Viewers are not just watching a machine being repaired. They are watching a person grow through each obstacle. That growth becomes just as interesting as the vehicle itself. Along the way, audiences also learn valuable lessons about planning, patience, and